Murder, murder, murder media. Come and get it, yo, murder media. Murder, murder, yo, murder media.
This dude works in a sugar plantation in Hawaii. All the sugar plantations have become other businesses, and so lives up in the mountain. He rides a bike through this old kind of like stone wall ruins area, and he's going down this road, and he hears over the wall's edge. He just hears voices. He stops and he looks over. He describes these like human-ish, but like 2 to 3 foot tall, makes no sense like what he's looking at. And he steps on a twig. They look up, they see him, and just disappear into the jungle. And he looks down, a footprint, like a set of footprints the size of what I would call like a 2 to 3 year old, literally half the stepping of mine. And he's in this cave, and out of the cave wall way back is this like stone bench that only makes sense for someone who is hobbit sized. They ask him, can you like describe for us what the voices sound like?
This man is asking the public a very simple question. He says McDonald's sells 6.5 million burgers in a single day, yet he has never seen any massive cow farms, cow rearing centers, or large slaughter facilities where huge numbers of cows are kept and killed to produce all that beef.
So I was curious the other day and found this online. McDonald's sells 6.5 million burgers in one single day. That's 195 million burgers a month. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't see cows lined up around every corner waiting to be turned into patties. I mean, seriously, do the math. Even if you stretched one cow into a bunch of burgers, you're still talking millions of cows just to keep up every day. So I started asking myself, where are all these cows coming from? Is there some secret super ranch hidden underground? Are they growing cows in labs, cloning meat behind closed doors? People laugh it off, but think, when was the last time you even saw a cow farm big enough to supply this madness?
Road trips. There was a tiger that was in North India and was killing hundreds of people. A tiger has to eat, about a deer a week to live. And so this tiger started eating about a person a week. And so she went through her first 100 people, and they brought in hunters to try and get this tiger, and she was smart. So she moved over into a different village. And so another 100 people got eaten over here, and then finally they burned the forest down. They just surrounded the forest and burned it down, and she managed to escape again. So they hired expert hunters. They got hundreds of elephants. They surrounded the forest with elephant-back hunters, and they had this hunter, Jim Corbett, and they burned and they had drummers on the elephants. They flushed her into a ravine, and they finally got to see this tiger, and he shot her, and they realized the reason this tiger had been eating people is because when she was just a sub-adult, barely above being a cub, she had been shot and it had taken out her canine teeth. And so she hadn't been able to hunt deer and wild boar, and so she had to eat people. Poor tiger had been shot, and so she was just trying to survive.
Well, I'm often asked, are there aliens among us?
That's Elon,
I'll say that I am one, but
or you're from the future.
They don't believe me. I think if
this is what they feed our kids. This is a chicken sandwich.
That's a bunch of skin.
Look at this. This is ridiculous. But this is what they feed our children. This is what our children have to eat. And this is why I have to always have some healthy snacks, because who wants to eat this? This is what they opened up to. Crazy.
So, die of a ketamine overdose. There are 40 million people in this country on antidepressant, and a lot of them want to come off and they don't know how.
My friend actually just told me today that she quit cold turkey.
Ooh,
and I'm like,
dangerous.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
She's like, no.
Where does functional and naturopathic medicine
So these all overlap, right? So, if a doctor wants to do every test in the book and then give you $1,000 of supplements from their own dispensary, I would run in the other direction. Actually getting them better. And what I was noticing was people were just on more medications. They were on higher doses of the same medication. And these were like good doctors. They were good people. They just didn't have anything in their toolbox except for drugs. Right, they don't know that what they really need is that social support, is that society support. Like 40 days after birth, women just do nothing. Like, just rest.
She has like a whole vibe.
Yeah, I think you're vibing.
I think the cool doctor. Yeah. The cool doctor's in the house.
This is a picture of one of the Wild West's greatest mysteries. It's called Devil's Gate in Wyoming, and it became a landmark on the wagon trails. And it's a 300-foot deep canyon cut directly through a wall of granite. It might not sound too strange considering the West is full of canyons. Here's the part that stumped the pioneers. This granite ridge ends just a couple thousand feet away. But instead of taking this path of least resistance, the Sweetwater River runs through this gorge. So what exactly is going on here? Pioneers came up with a lot of legends to explain this, but the real reason it exists is more bizarre than any of them. The Sweetwater River starts here and then flows east through the Devil's Gate, which cuts right through the tail end of this little range called the Granite Mountains. And these weird mountains are a clue. See, the American West has a ton of mountains, almost all of which were pushed up during a massive tectonic event between 40 and 70 million years ago. The sediment washing off of these new mountains began to fill all the low-lying areas and valleys. This sediment and even ash from eruptions at the Yellowstone supervolcano grew to be hundreds of feet deep, fully burying huge parts of the Granite Mountains. Here is where all the pieces come together. The Sweetwater River started flowing, it wasn't through a mountain range, it was across a relatively flat surface. So it meandered around and eventually began to cut its way down into the soft sediment, eventually eroding down to the mountains that were buried below it. And instead of diverting course, it just eroded straight down through the rock that it had reached, meaning that this gorge preserves where this river flowed before the mountains were even above ground. It's something called a superposed stream, and it's an insanely rare feature. Following the Sweetwater to the west, I actually found 2 more places that it does this, though neither of them are named and probably not quite as impressive as the Devil's Gap. I know the world feels like a horrible place right now, but hopefully this can be a little reminder of how lucky we are to be on this beautiful planet. If you want the horrors of your doom scroll to be interrupted by more fun stuff like this in the future, sauce me a follow so you don't lose me.
This is Apple. This is Android. Now both of these are the prominent 2 cell phone major distributors in the entire world. They are competitive to the point where we have factions that say, are you Apple or are you Android? Now what's interesting about both of these logos is I always wondered, I was like, why is Apple with the sign of an apple with a bite taken out of it? And I started to consider, is this representative of taking a bite in the Garden of Eden, where it reflects all the way back to the tree of knowledge of good and evil, where you have this theme that came from the enemy that is put in our face and we won't take it as such. Then we have the Android, which is also reflective of the things that are coming to pass right now. I remember in Dragon Ball Z, where they had a situation where there was Android 17, 16, 18, all of these biomechanical people that could even reproduce human beings. We have a chip that is coming up to where you can have this biometric data embedded into your body or on your forehead, where you will basically become like a machine. Isn't this interesting that we have Android and Apple as our top cell phone distributors, computers, television, and everything regarding technology? Think that's a coincidence?
Sinatra. He says, "Hey Jay, there's the Sons of Italy dinner in Italy. Can you do it? When is it?" He gives me the date. And I said, "Oh, Mr. Sinatra, I'm at the Holiday House in Pennsylvania with the Sons of the Pioneers." That's what I said, "I'm opening for them on that day. I'd love to do it for you, but I can't do it." "Oh, okay." I said, "Oh, please, okay." A couple hours later, I get a call from Sinatra's agent. "Hey, we called the Holiday House. They said they don't need you." "What?" "They don't need you." "All right, guess I'm going to Chicago." All right, so I go to Chicago, and it's this Italian. I'm not going to use any of the real names because the people are still around. So we're doing this thing. It's at a golf course, and they say to me, "Listen, there's a priest here. So keep your act, clean." I said, "Yeah, okay, fine." So I go up and I do my little act, and fine, thank you, applause, I sit down. So this gangster guy gets up, he goes, "I want to welcome you all to this, this place, and what was I going to say? Oh, shit, I forgot what I was going to say." And when he said shit, the priest went like this. The guy goes, "What?" "Hey, father, you got your 10 grand in the fucking bag? Shut the fuck up!" He just goes crazy in his gut. "You shut the fuck up!" And the place is just, everybody's just frozen with fear. This guy's just like crazy. And the priest is like, he's holding his bag with the 10 grand in it, and then he sits down.
Occasionally this Epstein picture pops up where people say this is a trapdoor to the sea. I don't think it is. I don't know why we've just accepted that on face value. He built a network of tunnels underneath the house, and he talks all about it in the Epstein files. Contractors work on it. That thing was not below sea level. That's not ocean water, or if it is, it's pumped in there. That's an intentionally flooded underground room, or set of rooms. And there are other accounts that talk about a dungeon on that island. 4 rungs to the waterline, that's useless as a place to put boats. It's like, it would only be able to fit a river skiff. You don't sail a river skiff to Little St. James. You know, like, you dump a body, like, it would just wash back up on the beach. You might as well have, like, fireworks or a skywriter telling everyone what you're doing. And it sounds fucking outlandish, but we really have to take seriously just how often Jeffrey Epstein talks about wood chippers. We really have to take seriously because none of his properties really involved many trees. The New York one, none. The Paris one, none. The Palm Beach one, none.
New Mexico.
The New Mexico one, like some juniper bushes, but none. It's actually Little St. James that had the most. But you know what it had? Palm trees. You cannot put palm trees through wood chippers, through any normal wood chipper. They're notoriously difficult to chip. I hate to say it, but we have to take this very, very, very seriously.
Of the most.
Jesus Christ, that's too hard, man.
What
car? Who you got for the game, man?
What TV show you been watching right now?
Don't be asking you. Why you asking me?
Because you're the dude. You're my favorite rapper of all time.
Don't do me like
You're my favorite rapper of all
Is
time.
it clear to see that something's just not right with Jay-Z? Something's not right with him. After being encountered with this reporter, this undercover reporter just asking him simple questions triggered him to start fidgeting all up inside of his pockets, untangling, unraveling his jacket to get a little bit more air because it started to get a little bit steamy in there.
It's possible to time travel? In Antarctica, they have portals. That's correct. Well, okay, how do you know? Huh?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know. Why? Trust me. Okay, but why? Just trust me. You've been to Antarctica? No, I just know. I'm telling you right now, don't ask questions. There are portals in this world. Chad, is that true or is Neon just fucking chatting?
And this clip with Mr. Beast is even worse and kinda controversial.
Ever been to Antarctica?
Yeah.
Do you believe in the ice wall? Yeah, I saw the ice wall. There's
Space.
Yeah, you saw it too. I can't say that straight. No way, but we'll talk about it later. That's crazy.
One thing that I can't able to understand is that when he mentioned that Antarctica,
that seemed legit, y'all.
Like, what is behind the Antarctica? But there are lots of conspiracy that something is really going on. Do you remember this guy, Ethan? He went to Antarctica.
What happened to this kid?
Arrested him after that, and nobody knows where he is now.
I forgot about him.
If a streamer gets like a rapper to come on their stream and there's 50 to 100,000 people watching, they'll bot the fuck out that stream. The rappers and their record labels will say, oh, you need to go on there too. Oh, you need to go on there too. You need to go on there too. And then what ends up happening is you do that one stream with that one artist, and then that artist is going to get everybody else coming over, right? And then they come and they do the stream with you. This is why for a period of time, a lot of rappers were going almost exclusively to do streams. And they were doing streams as a part of their album release. Okay. Yeah. It used to be you go on 106 apart, you go on TRL with MTV, The Breakfast Club. That's how it used to be when you were putting out an album or you had new music. That ain't how it's done anymore. Now you do press run with streamers. That's the norm now, right? Now, not only do these record labels see these artists on these streams, 100,000 people, blah, 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 other companies, they go to the streamer directly and say, hey, we want you to push our product, right? So what ends up happening is these streamers get brand deals, okay? So they fake it till they make it, secure collabs. Those collabs bring viewership and they're biting at the same time. As they're biting and they're getting these collaborations, they look bigger than they really are with their viewership. Advertisers come and say, wow, you got 50,000 to 100,000 people watching you live. Let's go ahead and secure this deal. Will you go ahead and promote XYZ? Sure. That influencer signs the contract, they promote their product, bam, they secure a deal, okay? So this is literally the definition of fake it till you make it.
What was Los Angeles like back in 1990, 91, 92, 93, and 94? It was one of the most violent cities. Well, I wouldn't say the most. It was. Rampart, which is not far from here, it's about 6.5 square miles. Okay. 168 homicides within a 6.5 square miles with 60 gangs within that 6.5 square mile. In 1 year, we had 168 homicides.
I showed it to these guys in the green room last night. We were all freaking out. Like, what is that? So what you're concentrating on is the one in the lower right.
No, it's not moving quick enough. There's no tail. That's a UFO.
So when it gets above, this is where it gets weird. It gets above that other thing, which might be the moon. I'm not sure what that other thing is. And then it starts taking off at a insane rate of speed. Like, look at that.
No way. What the? It just went into space. It just went into space.
Oh my God. You were raised in Scientology?
Yeah. So I was 4 years old when my mom got into Scientology, and I spent 30 years in it. And I was 12 years old when I was taken out of school to start working for Scientology full time. I spent a few years working at this base from the age of about 12 to 13, 14,
hours
15.
per week.
Until I was 15 years old, I worked on this base. Didn't go to school. 110 hours a week working.
110 hours a week?
Oh yeah, 7 days a week.
What do you do? Like, what do you do? Like
a combination of studying physical labor, working in the restaurants, working in the hotels, working in the laundry facilities, doing some demolition and even HVAC.
And they pay you, or is it free?
No. Everyone who works for Scientology is considered a religious volunteer. When I say $47 a week, that's optional. They don't have to. Sometimes you don't get paid at all. So like the people that you see walking around in the uniforms, they don't get paid. They live in apartment buildings that are owned by Scientology, so they don't pay rent. They eat in a cafeteria in the basement of that building, so they don't pay for food. The $47 a week that they get, but they've got to use that to buy soap, socks, underwear, you know. So what happens is you've got basically a lot of indentured servants. And a lot of these people will come from out of the country, religious visas. A lot of these people are here illegally because they overstay their visas. They can't afford to go home and renew their visas. Absolutely. This is a human trafficking operation. I mean, it's one of the reasons we protest out here every week. I call it a family destroying human trafficking cult.
It's like people who like their travel visas expire or their whatever, and then they don't want to go back and they just submit themselves.
Well, they would go back, but they don't have money for a plane ticket. In some cases, they don't have their passports.
And you've met people on the inside that were like that?
Oh, I used to work on the inside for 15 years. I mean, I'm an ex-Scientologist. I used to be one of their Sea Org workers. I mean, I've seen people just so exhausted from work that the amount of people I've seen just have seizures and fall to the ground. I've never seen outside of Scientology.
That's
people,
crazy.
the Sea Organization workers is kind of like the clergy of the Church of Scientology. They can't have children. They can't have relationships with anyone outside of the Sea Organization. Scientology basically owns
on the US-Mexico border, and technically you could, but here's why most people don't. I'm standing at the border where it stretches into the Pacific, and at first glance it looks like you could just swim around it, but the reality is very different. The waves are strong, the water is rough, and the wall itself has sharp edges further out into the sea, and people have drowned just trying to get across. And even if you did make it to the other side, the US Border Patrol is watching constantly. And when I was here, I didn't see anyone crossing, but you can tell how heavily monitored it is. Now, the beach on the Mexican side is called Playas de Tijuana, which is actually very popular. Families come, people hang out, people swim in the ocean even though it is actually contaminated, and vendors sell food. I think it's just fascinating how this is just a line drawn on a map, and now it's reflected here in person. It's full of life, but the wall is a constant reminder of how complicated this border is. But standing here, you realize how this wall affects people's lives every single day. Follow for more stories.
Actually 100% real.
A lot of people seem to think this footage is AI because it looks very lifelike, but an airport obviously would not be set up like this. The surprising thing though, this is real. This video shows what appears to be a full-scale airport. We can see a bunch of planes, one of them is taking off, and it flies through a hole in the wall, which obviously is not something that would happen at an actual airport. Unfortunately, what we're looking at is not an actual full-scale airport, it's a miniature replica that's located in Germany. From what I can tell, this is the biggest model airport in the world, being around 150 square meters. This reportedly cost around 4 million euros to build, which is well above $4 million. Pretty much everything here is very realistic and functional. The planes have their own traffic pattern, they come back in. And honestly, this looks really cool. I could spend an entire day taking this in and observing it. If you want to check this out, and this is not sponsored, you can look up Miniature Wonderland in Hamburg, Germany. If I am ever in the neck of the woods here, I know I'm going to go.
You know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is? What? Is to act like it didn't happen. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't. Wow. All of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words.
Technology, right? I'll give you an example. Right now, a cop could pull up behind you and their car will automatically run your plate. Technically, that's against the Constitution. Okay.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
The cop cars behind you automatically run your plate.
On your plate. Automatically. There's a system in it. Yeah. They could pull it up. And so they used to have to manually do it if they saw you do something wrong. Right. Now
the system, man, it could pull up plates, man. And they even have like alerts from cameras that are on the highway, right? One of my friends just got in trouble in Nebraska. Sadly, it was a guy I was locked up with. He seemed to be doing Seth Ferrani. You got his book.
Oh, Seth Ferrani?
Yeah,
he was on the podcast on this podcast years ago.
Yeah, well, he's got locked up for running weed across Nebraska, and they got him because as he was driving, a highway camera picked up his plate, informed the system that there was a felon driving across the country, former drug guy, and they came and got him. Kind of like how they grabbed Maduro. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. So and this is stuff people don't understand. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm cool with, a robot cop, right? But what I'm not cool with, who's programming it and who's running it and who, cause so far
human nature, it does not change.
So far humans have not shown that they are adult to be adults.
Right.
They're like kids.
Yep.
And so to give someone this type of power will completely, there will be no revolutions. There will be no if it gets to, look at right now. Europe is losing their speech. They're losing their money.
Yeah.
And they can't do nothing. And that's without robots. Imagine with them.
They're getting arrested for making Facebook posts.
It's just in
veterans.
Yeah.
See that some girl got arrested for praying outside of an abortion clinic.
Yeah. And she didn't even pray loud. It was a thought.
She was just sitting there. She wasn't even talking.
A thought crime was, right? So I don't feel like humans have earned the right to have that sort of technology to rule the world.
No.
Because we're all screwed up. You got Iran fighting, you got Russia fighting, everyone's fighting. Nigeria. So you want to give these leaders, you think they're smart enough? These cats that have robbed us of 38 trillion? I see protests right now because they shot the chick, right? Which is terrible.
Yeah.
Right? But what about robbing the country for 38 trillion?
Right.
38 trillion.
That's what I'd be saying over here, yo.
We should have bullet trains across this country. We should have this country, if our politicians and government would have really focused on strengthening and empowering the people instead of themselves.
Sounds like
this
me on
country
my podcast.
would be so insanely awesome.
Yeah.
I saw something. I can't explain it. It's like the air took on a form and it came right through the ceiling. Went into that girl. She flipped upside down and tried to bang herself against the bed to try to kill herself. And this is where it got crazy. Jumped on top of the girl. And, you can have different approaches. My approach is always to the demon, what is your name? I said, what is your name? He said, my name is Jason. I said, that's a stupid name for a demon. He said, you the one stupid. I'm human. He said, the demons couldn't get the job done. They too weak for y'all. So I came to kill her myself. So Satan was getting witches, humans, to lay their bodies down. It's called astral projection. Lay their bodies down. You travel. It's a strange scripture in the Ecclesiastes, the Song of Solomon. It talks about the silver cord of life. Yeah, in astral projection, they teach you when you come out of your body, there's a silver cord. If you go too far and it snaps, you go straight to hell. You can't get back to your body. See, the church don't know nothing about this. This is what we deal with every day. Okay? So you want to hear something crazy? Ooh, this is going to get me in trouble. When a human spirit has taken over a spirit, the name of Jesus doesn't work. Because you and I got free will, demons don't. They got to come out in the name of Jesus. Second time it happened, the girl is in our bedroom, guys, a huge bedroom. My wife is sitting right there. I'm sitting right here. The girl is sitting on the floor. We're just ministering to her. All of a sudden, she does this. She opens her eyes, and it's a man in her body. Real man. Astral projected all the way from Virginia. My wife is hilarious. She keeps it professional.
Okay.
I'm the one that's ghettoing it. Astral projected from another state. I'm looking at this man in this girl's body, and I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, who are you? He identified himself. He said, your wife know who I am. I said, you know this fool? She said, yeah, this is the guy from such and such, such and such. He was a lawyer over a case with this girl. Hijacked her body to help me win the case because of somebody else that he didn't like on the case. And so what stunned me is not that he hijacked her body, because you can't get in my house in the spirit. Impossible to get in my house in the spirit. Impossible. It's a fortress. Unless someone is in there and Satan can breach it. Mm-hmm. Some of your listeners are like, what is he talking about? Just hang on. You'll be back. We'll be back with the simple stuff in a second. And so what stunned me was not that he hijacked her body. What stunned me was the buzzing of the two angels that had showed up behind me with shields, similar to like you see in Doctor Strange. You could hear it. Bzzz. They were there instantly. And so then I started coming to my senses because I was in shock. I said, first of all, if you have a message for me, that's what email is for. I said, second of all, I said, if you ever do this again, I will kill you. I said, I'm telling you. And I said, I know you see what's behind me and I can do it easily. I'm going to assume that you are too ignorant to understand who I am when it comes to being a son of God. Because what you did to this girl, you know it's impossible for you to do that. He just glared at me, man. And for 25 minutes, I threatened his life and preached the gospel. It sounds so weird because it's a human spirit, not demon. Preach the gospel, threaten his life. Preach the gospel, threaten his life for about 20, 25 minutes. I remember one of the things that I said, so I encourage you to read the Bible for yourself because you don't have real power. I said, if you had a real power, you could do something to me. So you need to read the Bible for himself. He said, I read it. I didn't get anything out of that. I said, oh, that's right. I forgot dead men can't see. Last thing I told him is, I said, so this will be the last time you do this. I said, you understand what I'm saying? He said, I understand. He said, it will not happen again. I said, I hope so for your life's sake. And then this is what happened. She come back. What happened? Church ain't ready for that. That's real slavery. Not that the guy down the street didn't sell you a home.
The latest Savannah Guthrie video. So we were just at dinner and then all of a sudden we get the notification that there's another video. Right. And we watched it together. And what did you think?
Like the other videos, it's hard to watch. It's heartbreaking. Quick. It's short and it's just a direct message right to the kidnapper.
And what did we say at dinner? Like it seemed very coded.
Yes, right. They're trying to get the message across.
Okay, and then also the skeptics in us. What did we say about how can this possibly be going on this long?
Right. It's unfathomable. These aren't the criminals of the century.
Exactly.
So how have they not been caught?
Is someone just playing them? That's you and I we had thoughts.
It's a show.
Yeah, but we don't know. But, is
Nobody
it someone
knows.
who knows the family somehow? Is it someone who's familiar with that house?
I know.
We don't know.
And on Substack, and I showed you, someone said on Substack that she lives in Arizona and she didn't see any billboards about Nancy Guthrie. But you and I landed in Phoenix. What is the very first billboard we saw in Phoenix?
An electronic billboard for
Nancy Guthrie.
Yeah.
They got one in my town
and that's
too.
in Phoenix, not even in Tucson.
And that's and then I even said do they live in Phoenix or Tucson?
Right.
And it was
I mean,
Tucson.
It's great that they've spread out the net.
They're doing that, but it's still crazy that if there's someone sending ransom notes, how do they not find someone who sends ransom notes?
Yeah, in this day and age,
they arrested one guy, a fake,
a faux kidnapper. Yeah.
But how do they? Okay, so we have nothing to offer.
No, and much like the authorities in Tucson.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
We know as much as they do. Okay, but it's and then we were talking about the Olympics because we were watching the Olympics, and. Could you imagine being Savannah Guthrie? Like NBC is scrambling too.
Yes, yeah, but I mean that's such a,
What is up? What is up? What is up? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day, whoever you are, wherever you are. I always say, stay to the positive, never to the negative. Always remember that. Go up in the day, baby. You play, you only get one life to live. You better live it for today. That's facts. Stay ablazing, stay amazing, stay true, stay you. No matter what you're doing.